You are what you eat. I know you've all heard it, right? Have you ever taken a moment to actually think about what it means or digest the words? For example, I had a banana with breakfast today. Do you see a big banana standing in front of you? Don't answer that. No, not literally, but I really think this phrase nods to the fact that we are so complex in how we're made up, right? Similar to a car, it's made of nuts, it's made of bolts to hold the car together. It requires gasoline to help the engine run. It requires a fuel injector to get that fuel where it needs to be in the car to actually work. We're no different. We're made of so many components that our bodies need for adequate function. We can call these components nutrients. So let's put this into perspective. Let's go back to that banana I had for breakfast. Look at it, it's beautiful, right? All right, that banana, if you've had Nutrition 101 with one of the amazing professors at Montgomery College, or if you've had it with me, you're probably well aware of the fact that this banana has energy. We can also call it calories, right? That energy is gonna fuel our intentional movements like running on the treadmill. It is going to fuel our other intentional movements such as clicking the skip ad button on yet another Grammarly video, or maybe that's just my algorithm. But it's also going to fuel our unintentional movements such as blinking and our heart beating. So much we're getting from food. We're also going to get potassium from food. This potassium is going to help our muscles contract. It's going to regulate our fluid in our body. It's going to regulate our blood pressure. We're also going to get some vitamin C from this banana. This vitamin C, it helps support brain health, heart health, our immune function. It's also going to help us use that energy that we get from food. Yes, you heard that right. The tools that we need to use the energy we get from food, we also get from food. So everything we need to function is from food. More specifically, nutrient-dense foods, or real foods, the foods that we see in our whole grain products, our fruits, our veggies, our lean proteins, the foods that we see present at grocery stores, maybe home-cooked meals. So we gather nutrition, adequate nutrients available in our diet. It's so important, right? It should be coming out of our faucets in our homes. It should be on our porches when we wake up in the morning. It should be in neighborhood wells. Unfortunately, that's not the case, is it? Adequate nutrition, right now as it stands, it's a privilege that is afforded to the lucky rather than a right that's available to all of us. And that's what we're going to spend the next few minutes talking about today. Okay, we're going to talk about areas of compromised access, who often resides in these areas, how health is intertwined with this, what the barriers are, as well as some of the solutions. These areas are often called food deserts and food swamps, and we'll start with a discussion on food deserts. Food deserts, we often see lower income areas being first and foremost in the definition. The USDA is also going to define food deserts as, let's say we're talking about suburban area, that's going to be where 1/3 of the population resides 10 miles or more away from the closest full-service grocery store. Or if we're talking about an urban setting, we're going to see 1/3 of the population living a mile or more away from a grocery store. And this is often cited to be partially due to what is termed as white flight in the mid-20th century, where we saw middle-class folks leaving the big city areas, moving to suburbia. Well, of course, grocery stores followed because they wanted that middle-class money. It makes sense, I guess. But unfortunately, it left the perfect environment for corner stores to thrive, for liquor stores to thrive, and for fast food menus to come in. What do these places all have in common, except for maybe their ability to help you through a tough breakup or, make it through midterms week? If you're in accelerated class right now, I feel you, hang in there. What they also have in common, unfortunately, is the fact that they offer energy-dense foods with nutrient-poor offerings as well. We're talking kind of, I don't want to say it, but let's just say junk foods, right? Areas that are rich in these foods are called food swamps. And I know you might be inclined to say, but, well, food is food, right? Well, dissimilar to mankind, food is not all created equal. We see certain patterns of intake coined together with certain chronic illnesses. You see type 2 diabetes arising, you see heart disease, you see hypertension, you see obesity. These illnesses are all arising when you are robbing neighborhoods of opportunities to consume healthy foods. Going back to the car example we had earlier, right? We're getting a lot of energy in the car. We're getting a lot of gas in that car, but we don't even have a fuel injector to use that energy, right? We have the vitamin B6 and all the other nutrients that are essential. We don't have that. So with how expensive gas is, we don't have time for that, right? Issues upon issues upon issues. Let's rewind for a minute, because I know I saw some eyes when I said a mile away from a grocery store. I know some of you might think a mile is not that far, if you're not carrying 20 pounds of groceries. It's not that far, right? But it's not just a distance issue alone. It is a systemic issue, because we're also seeing neighborhood safety issues. We're seeing walkability of streets being compromised. It's a variety of problems that are all fueling in and building upon each other. If you're in that space and you're hungry and you're walking around and, you see all of these beautiful fast food readily available, I don't need to go home and put it in a pot options, it's just natural to want to take it, right? I mean, for me, if there's a Twinkie standing in front of me, I can only stare at it for so long before I'm like, give me that Twinkie. But, these foods make us feel good. That's part of it, right? But the thing is, in the long term, chronic consumption, habitual consumption of these foods actually have a differing effect. They can elicit a physiological stress response in the body. This is also going to feed into some of the diseases and illnesses that we discussed a few minutes ago. And we would be doing a disservice to mention stress and not talk about some of the stresses that are still plaguing these communities, such as transportation, right? About 2.1 million households in food deserts, and I'm talking households, not individuals, households are without a vehicle. We also see financial burdens that we can't afford to ignore, such as the 3 out of every 6 low-income dollars being spent on housing. 2 of those $6 are going to be spent on foods, access of which, as we just discussed, is compromised. And then when the healthy foods are available, they can often be more expensive than the middle-class neighborhood counterparts, right? So you see milk coming in at 5%, being 5% more expensive. You see cereals 25% more expensive in these areas. And this is also going to be partially due to infrastructure downfalls that are present there, such as lack of space, lack of refrigeration. If you want to purchase massive amounts of food at wholesale prices, you need to have a place to put that food. Well, corner stores, liquor stores, they can't get a big barrel of bananas. So we have issue on issue on issue. Let's talk about what some of the solutions might be. Studies show that, sure, grocery stores are great and they're needed, but grocery stores alone aren't going to solve the problems, unfortunately, because this is an issue that has taken generations upon generations to build. People get used to it. They don't just sit around and it's like, okay, what am I going to do without a grocery store? You make the best of your surroundings. So considering when you come in these communities and try and make a change, considering and doing nutrition, cooking demonstrations, recipe lists. When you're bringing new foods in, let's show how the variety of different ways that these foods can be used in a timely manner, of course. We can also consider community-sustaining foods. So not only are we helping bring food into the communities, we're going to sustain communities with the food offerings, maybe even provide further job opportunities. We can also look at this incentivization of fresh fruits and vegetables from government support as well as a means to, get the wheels going there. Another great effort I've seen in the DC area and a variety of other areas as well are mobile markets, which is great because you can think like ice cream truck, but with fresh produce. But whatever it is, whatever the solution is, we can't afford to ignore it, okay? We need to take it by the hands and move forward and provide communities with the right that we should all have, and that's adequate access to fresh foods. So I hope I've provided you with just a little bit of food for thought today on why food access matters. Making a difference, coming up with a solution, it's something that one person with an idea, one person with the willpower can do, and I think that one person is in this room, and it could be each and every one of you. So thank you so much for your time.